Hey guys, it's me, Miss C, and we are going to be talking more about functions today, but we're going to go ahead and review briefly what we talked about yesterday, which is the vertical line test. And so if you remember, the vertical line test is a method that we use to determine if a relationship is a function or not, okay? The approach is pretty simple. We just draw a vertical line right through a graph, and then we observe how many points of intersection there is, okay? So if a vertical line hits the graph more than one time, it is not a function, okay? So for example, this first graph, if I draw a vertical line up and down through here, I'm going to end up hitting the graph 1, 2, 3 times, okay? So it is not a function because it hit it more than once. If I draw a line anywhere through this one, I only hit the graph once, and so that means that this is a function, okay? Today, we're going to briefly look into how to figure out if it's a function if we have a map, a table, or a set of ordered coordinate pairs, okay? So a function, what is that? It's a special relationship where each input has a single output. Now, input is just a fancy way of saying every x value has one y value, okay? So every x has one y, okay? What does that look like in a relationship map? So a relationship map is where we have these circles or squares and we have a set of inputs and a set of outputs. Remember, I said inputs are x values, okay? And I said outputs are y values. So all we're looking for is, does every x value only have one y value? So let's look at this first one. We have -2 to -1. That only has one. That arrow is only pointing to one. Arrow should only point to one output. Okay, so if we look at this first one, -2 goes to -1, that's good. We have -1 goes to 0, that's fine. We have 0 to 1, that's good. We've got 1 to 2, that's good. We've got 2 to 3, that's good. And we have 3 to 4, that's good. Okay, so since every input, every x value only has one y value, this is a function. Okay, now let's look at the next one. We have 2 goes to 20, but it also goes to 40. Now we said that every x value, let me choose a different color, every x value has to only have one y value, but this 2 goes to 20 and 40, and since 2 goes to 20 and 40, it is not a function. Okay, now this question is the one that's below. All right, we have -2, -1, and 0. Our inputs, or our x values, will always be on the left, and our y values will always be on the right for our relationship maps. Okay, so we have -2, -1, and 0. -2 only goes to 9. -1 only goes to 9. 0 only goes to 9. So since every x value only has one y value, even though they're the same, they are a function. Okay, so that's key. The same y value can have multiple x values, but an x value cannot have multiple y values. All right, let's look at ordered pairs. Ordered pairs. So here we have a multiple choice question and then the question that is below. This is the same idea. We know that for ordered pairs that our x value is first. Go ahead and get rid of that. X, Y, okay? So my X value should only show up once. So when I'm looking at this, I'm only looking at the first number in each pair and see if it repeats. Okay, so I have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So that one's good. That's a function. So that's not my answer. Next, I have -6, -3, 0, 1, and 2. Those are all different numbers. They're the first, the x's, and so that's a function. That's good. Next up, we have -8, -6, -4, -2, and -1. Each one of those is different, so these are also, this set of ordered pairs are also a function. And the last one, it must be our answer because we've eliminated the other answer choices. But just to double check, we have -4, -1, 3, 3, 7. So in this case, we do have two x values that are the same. We have this 3 and this 3. And so since they are the same, that x value shows up more than once, it is not a function. So this is my answer. Okay? Let's look at the example I gave, and this is a question in your Google Forms. We have 1, 2, 4, 6, 1, 8, 5, 7, 3, 0. So just a reminder, our x values are always first in each one of these pairs. And I'm just going to go ahead and label them x, y, x, y, x, y. And we are only looking at our x values. So we have 1, 4, 1, 5, 3. Does a number repeat here? So I'm going to give you guys a second. Go ahead and pause the video and decide if you think it is a function or not a function. Remember, we should only have our x values show up once. So if it shows up more than once, then it is not a function. So our answer here, do we have a number that shows up more than once? Yes, we do. We have 1 and 1. Awesome. I know you guys caught that and you have that written down below. So if we have that x value show up more than once, then our answer is going to be then not a function. And I know you guys got that during that whole pause. You guys are smart cookies. So we're going to go ahead and look at our last example here. We have a table. And sometimes our tables are going to say input and output just like they do with our maps. But we need to remember that input means x and output means y. Okay? So this is the same as x. This is the same as y. Here, we're looking in our x side, our input side, to see if a x value repeats. Okay? So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. None of our x values show up more than once. So because they don't show up more than once, this is a function. All right, I'm going to pause and I'm going to let you go ahead and look over here at this problem, and I'm going to let you try it on your own. This is the last problem in section 2 with the guided practice. I'll give you guys a few minutes. All right, so do our x values here repeat? So again, we should only be looking at our inputs, our x values. We have -3, -2, -3, and -1. Do they repeat? Yeah, they do repeat. And what repeats? -3 and -3. Very good. So because they repeat, that means that this is not a function, right? And that's it for today's lesson. You're going to go ahead and on to the independent practice and identify if the relationship map, so again, let's just go back so you guys can see them. If the relationship map, which is these circles or these rounded squares, if our x value shows up more than once, then it's not a function. We're going to look at ordered pairs. You're going to tell me if those are functions or not, and tables. That's the lesson for today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I will see you all tomorrow.